Hey everyone, and welcome back to Sailing KYAN II. I'm Shane, this is Sandra, and we have finished our solar project. We're going to walk you through all the steps that we did, including the bimini, wiring up the panels, making the attachment to the bimini, then doing the installation of the MPPT controller and the charger inverter. Hope you enjoy this. Thanks.
Welcome to Sailing KYAN II. Join us as we explore the beautiful Chesapeake Bay in our newly refitted Morgantown Island ketch, and watch as we're preparing the final touches for our 2021 snowbird journey from Baltimore, Maryland to sunny tropical destinations.
29 months of interesting hard work on everybody's part. In our last episode of the Solar Sailor Part 2, we loaded our inverter and solar equipment on board KYAN II. In this final episode of Solar Sailor Part 3, we'll take you through the placement, installation, wiring, and then the final startup of our solar power system. We hope you enjoy this series and invite you to subscribe. It's absolutely free. For our engine start battery, we chose to use a pair of 50 amp hour AGM batteries, sold by the Home Depot under the brand of Mighty Max. 25 years of aviation has taught me the value of redundancy, so wiring two of these in parallel ensures an additional margin of starting power safety in the event that one battery fails. Okay. Perfect fit, and they're all solid, they're dry. That's the 4 in there, and these are dedicated for the engine. And they will hook up to the MPPT controller, which is going on the other side. These are 2 of the 3 house batteries. And now we have to position the house battery at the front before we can get all that done. So it turns out that our standard battery box is just a tad too narrow to put that battery in. So we're going to go and hook up the inverter, come back to this problem in a little bit. Let's see what we can get started now and get our cables ready for the inverter. So today we've completed our A&L fuse holder construction. Very simple apparatus. Simply take a piece of HDPE or wood, add 2 bolts to it, countersink them 5/16 and washers, lock washers, nuts, and nylocks, and they will fit perfectly, and you could then mount them anywhere you want. Just tighten these down, put the screw holes in, and voila. Making custom length battery cables is easy, and you don't need an expensive investment in crimping tools for a one-time job. We use this simple hammer crimper and a 1-pound hammer. For an extra layer of safety and reliability for the lug, it's a wise idea to add a silver braze before you add the heat shrink tape. You never know, it might come in handy someday at sea. We've got 2 start batteries in parallel isolated from the DC charger. We have 2 lithium batteries, 1 and 2. A third one will go forward. Now, I want you to see what I found here on the manual. So on the manual, it shows AC input, AC output. Regardless that the arrows go the wrong way, the AC input looks correct, and here we're seeing load, we're hot, neutral, and ground. Here, when we look on our connections, we see neutral, low, and ground. So they're saying, when connecting, wire it just like the picture below. Well, I checked these anyway before I went ahead and wired it because I could see the difference, but I could see how somebody, unassuming, would end up getting that wrong. And don't forget the fine print. Be careful of the positive and negative poles. Reversing the poles might cause permanent damage to the inverter. It will surely blow the internal fuse. Well, they're not telling me how to fix the internal fuse yet. So, let's see if we can get this wired up. Alright, black goes to the ground, and this goes to our hot. So that's 120.4 volts. If we go to the white wire, it is completely neutral. Our Renogy inverter is live. So that's what the problem was. We needed to activate it with 12 volt, and then hopefully we'll do some tests and see if we can run it through its paces. This is the output, this is the input, this is the output. We'll measure the output in a minute, and we see we've got output 119 volts. We just have to go through the system and decide if we have to change any parameters. So now is a good time to read the instruction manual. We now have our Renogy MPPT charging controller fully operative, along with a Bluetooth transmitter. We have 3 bypass switches, shut-off switches, 1 to the engine, because this charges the engine up to 25 amps, 1 to the battery, which powers the unit, and 1 to the solar panels, which provide the charging. Now we also down here have the 3 kilowatt Renogy inverter, which is running right now on shore power, and as you can see, it is charging, slowly charging the battery. We have input of 117 with current loss, cordage drop, and 116 output. Our Bluetooth is operating, showing at 14.4 volts with 13 on the starter battery and 3.48 amp coming in. So the one with the highest charge is supplying it. Since we've only put a minimum 15 amp charge on this, I think what's happening is our panels are taking over. So that's it. Now what we have to do, since this is below one of our aft decks, we have a ladder here, which we're going to fit. Before we do that, though, we're going to build a acrylic cover for this, which will be a splash shield, and another acrylic cover, which will come out to here. And that's on the next project, which is a continuation of the solar project. Our solar wires are coming across the bimini and wire tied and drop down to the center console. There will be another stainless steel tube up there, and here you'll see 4 packing glands for 2 different sets of wires which go down and through the steering pedestal into the engine room. We're charging here. The engine's running at idle, 800 RPM, and we're combined charging amps of 10.12 volts, which I suspect is almost all panel. As when we started up, we were charging 25 volts, and then the alternator regulator has calmed down. So everything's running great, sounds good, water's coming out the back end, and looks good. Well, this is the old batteries, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a Pro 3 charger and a battery doctor isolator. Goodbye to the old and hello lithium. I hope it was informative. We're going to be coming up with our next episode of the Seawater Pro. Stay tuned for that one.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our videos. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.